So here is a really simple and I believe very effective technique for going to the body, going almost like taking a duck dive and slipping underneath the mind and the activity of the mind, and instead locating through the body what emotional content is being activated, which is allowing the mind to act in the way that it is. So remembering that we're wanting to track back from physical illness to stuck emotional states, stuck mental states, and find in the body the sensations and the emotions that actually might be stored there, seeking release. And really, once we do that, once we actually develop frameworks that work for us, that are simple and effective and that we can use in the moment to really locate what's happening in the body, we can start to just clear the stuff that we're carrying. And we really can come into a place where we have deeply cleared a lot of our material. That's not to say that we will never get triggered again. I actually believe almost as if there's a cyclical process of always dropping deeper and deeper in life into greater mastery around riding the waves of triggers. And so just remembering it's not so much that our emotional body is healed to the point where we would never experience emotional triggers again. It would be more that we understand through mastery of these techniques and these sort of frameworks how to ride those triggers through, how to see them for what they truly are, to see them for opportunities to become even more whole as a human in life, to become even more intimate and have even more of an intimate understanding of our true self, and just to be free and have the confidence and the familiarity with the whole range of emotional content, to feel that freely without feeling threatened by feeling those emotions. Because I guarantee that the emotions at first, when we turn towards ourselves and start to feel that which we're carrying, will be mostly the most uncomfortable emotions that we have tried to avoid feeling for many, many years. And I really haven't met a human yet. If you're out there, feel free to get in touch with me. But I'm yet to meet a human who doesn't struggle, with feeling uncomfortable emotions. It's just part of the course. And yet, if we can develop the courage and the frameworks, the techniques for feeling those emotions, they will pass. They will not overwhelm us, and we will be able to become stronger within ourselves and more able to just allow our emotional body to be fluid, to be free, so that we can be free and we can be fluid and we can come into a sense of moment to moment aliveness and contact, deep contact with not only our own individual soul self, but the larger soul self, which is just so beautifully reflected in the natural world and in the world of humanity as well. So once again, lofty stuff. How do we do it? All we need to do is to first of all recognize when the mind is very active and distressed, when the emotional body is triggered and active and distressed, that this is a time when we need to stop what we're doing with that. Often we'll be turning it against ourselves, or we'll be turning it externally against some person outside of ourselves, or possibly towards the government or a group of people. So what we want to do is actually to stop turning it outward or inward, and instead we contain that and we say, right, I'm now going to use that as an indicator, a red flag to stop. It's a really key thing, is to just be aware of what's happening and to cultivate a sense of being able to stop, not rush and keep pushing through it and avoiding it, but just stopping and taking some deep breaths and allowing ourselves the time to come towards ourselves, to close our eyes and to just find ourselves and to find our body. Often when we're caught in emotional triggers and we're caught in the mental world, we're way out of our body. We're off, projecting into the future, thinking about the past, but we're really out of touch with the present moment and with our physical body. And so we have to find that again in order to really come home and find the strength that we're looking for. So we close our eyes and we locate the body. And you can just, scan where your head is, scan where your arms are, the chest. You can be quite detailed, feel the stomach and scan the legs and the body all the way down to the feet. And just start to notice sensations that are arising within the physical body. And you can label them. But it's really important to take your awareness towards those sensations. And at first, we're just wanting to almost give them a neutral label. So we're describing them. It might be that we have a tight chest. We can feel tension in the head. We can feel a headache. We can possibly feel a tightness in our gut, So we're just moving through all of those pathways of describing the sensations in the body. The next step after that is to find if there's a most intense place and to take your awareness to that place. And with the breath, actually turn all of your awareness into a motion of paying attention to those sensations. Maybe at this point there could be also emotional content that is really being housed there. The zing of anxiety can be something that can really overlay a lot of deeper emotions. So we'll take, for example, in the chest, we might feel that zing of anxiousness and anxiety. And so we would actually allow ourselves to embrace that part of ourselves, to breathe into it even deeper, to allow that part of ourselves to express as completely as we possibly can in that moment. And that can take a few minutes. It can sometimes take longer than that. Sometimes it'll also trigger, before relieving that wave and releasing that wave, it can also trigger a deeper emotional state, another area that could feel more emotional, like tears and sometimes rage. All of these emotions that are very difficult in our normal busy day-to-day lives to really find time to express. So if that happens for you, allow that as well to just come forward and trust in the simplicity of the wisdom of your body. Trust in the moment that whatever you're experiencing is real and true for you, and just allow it as fully as you possibly can. From that place, you can also choose to care for yourself, to feel care, to feel compassion for that part of yourself that was seeking to express. You might have a conscious idea of where that's come from in your life, but it's not essential to intellectually draw all the dots together through this sort of process. But it is really lovely to finish the attending of ourselves and the movement of what's stored in our body, finish it off by actually feeling compassion for that part of ourselves and compassion for who we are and the journey that we're on. Some people like to also partner that with movement, so body movement and expressing through the physical body and movement. And if that speaks to you, then absolutely that's a really powerful thing to do as well. And so that's the basic technique. It's very, very simple, but it can be very, very transformative. And from there's a lot of different pathways that can be attached to that basic technique, which can help deepen the flow of the expression of anything that's been held and undigested within us. So I'll just recap. So it's very simple. You first have to recognize through the mind and its activity, or through the emotions and the peak of their activity, that this is an indicator to stop, an indicator to go to yourself, to turn away from external or internal blame, but instead to come into a sense of just presence in the moment. And so you would close your eyes and take that time to breathe into the body and locate your physical body, and make sure you ground into your physical body. From there, you then locate what's happening by naming it as sensations. From that place, you then would find the peak of that experience. It could be in any part of your body and it could feel quite strong. So you go to that place, the peak of the wave, if you will, and you allow that to, as fully as you possibly can, to be felt in the safety of your physical body. And from there, you might then find another wave that is seeking your attention. So you could also go to there and allow that to also come. And once that work is done, you then can turn towards yourself with a sense of compassionate care, with a sense of taking your own sovereign responsibility for your own healing, and finding a sense of deep acceptance of these things that are arising within your own body. And then just take some deep breaths. And that whole process can take a couple of minutes. It can be something that you can do even in the toilets somewhere. You can do it sitting on a park bench. You can definitely integrate that into your life in lots of different ways. So I'd really encourage you to just play with that and see if it's helpful. I certainly hope it is. And I'd love to hear from you if you'd like to learn how to take those sorts of frameworks into a more in-depth pathway as well. So, okay, thanks.